Welcome to the video. As the title says, this is going to be a little bit of a mini series of souping up or upgrading the Grainfather SF50. It's pretty standard. There's no built-in heating or cooling or any fancy pressure transfer bits attached to it. So that's mainly what this series is going to be. This one I'm going to be installing and reviewing the malt miller version of the pressure transfer kit. I'm not ready to do a pressure transfer yet. This is the stout, which is just finishing fermentation, but I'm figuring I can install that kit now and take you through it. I don't think the Grainfather SF50 is pressure rated to carbonate beer, but it should hold enough pressure to ferment under a couple of psi, and it should be plentiful to be able to transfer from the bottom tap here into kegs or secondaries. But before we get into it, let's have a sneaky sample of the beer to see how it's getting on. So that's the first look at the beer. If you want to check out the brew day, I'll leave a link in the description box below. It should be the previous video to this one. So it's looking pretty good. Obviously no comment about head retention, etc, etc, but definitely getting that roasty chocolate, very heavy with the chocolate on it. Or the cocoa, definitely smell that. You can see it's a very tan looking head on it as well. So once this is properly carbonated and conditioned, lightly carbonated, it's not going to be much. It's going to be good. So in for the taste then, Iechyd. That is hitting the spot. It's quite a dry finish on the end, but it's a dry finish with like a bitter cocoa sort of dry finish, if that makes sense. Almost powdery, but not quite. Just get that hoppy, slightly hoppy background as well. This is nice. It's not sweet. It's probably finished fermenting actually. That's very, very promising. And I think I might rack some of this onto some chilies. So stay tuned, see what we do with it. Whoosh! Right, on with the video. So I purchased this from the Old Faithful malt miller. That is about 4 meters of 3/8 beer or gas tubing that comes with the kit. And here are all of the tri-clamp and accessories that you will need. For what I'm using this for, I don't need all of these fittings, but it was such a better deal than buying the bits individually. I thought, why not? They'll do as spares, and I'll probably put them to good use anyway. I knew that was going to happen. Why did I bother? So, will that fit in that? Nope, nowhere near. So that's a spare. So I'll list out in the description below everything you have in this kit. It's £40, 40 British pounds, or currently is. But it is November, and there have been quite a lot of Black Friday deals been kicking off lately. So we'll go through the bits individually. This is the main piece, which is your gas in-post tri-clamp fitting with a 5 psi pressure reduction valve, or PRV. You see that's beautiful stainless steel quality. Lovely, lovely. Coupled with your tri-clamp fitting. Again, very heavy, good quality stuff. The gasket. Couple of ball locks, obviously with your beer out and your gas in, threaded to accommodate the John Guest fittings as well. And a 90 elbow. So this is intended for the GF30 fermenter. Pretty sure that's what it's called. So as I already have beer in here, that rhymes, we'll sanitize these bits just in case. We'll clean and sanitize these bits first, and we'll install them on. So hopefully everything's in shot. So we'll start off by removing the airlock. Another quick whoosh. We shall put the gasket on, can go either way, and it sits nicely into the recess there. We shall place this on top, which again sits nicely into a recess. I think this might hold quite a bit of pressure. Probably not designed for it or classified, but let me change that around. It's the first tri-clamp I've ever had, as you can probably tell. So tighten this down. Very tactile. Okay. That ain't going nowhere, as they say. Right, let's chuck some gas on it, shall we? The CO2 that's rigged up is currently running at 10 psi, which is probably going to be too much for this, but I'll just whack it on as a flash. Here we go. It's holding pressure. There's no beer flying out anywhere. So I've had this spunding valve for quite some time. I think it's maybe time to bring it out of retirement and just see how much pressure is inside the fermenter. It's one way to find out. Next to nothing. Not even 1 psi, I don't think. Right, there should be. This pressure release valve has just kicked off. There should be about 5 psi in there. No, 2. Which is fine. So I think this pressure relief valve is adjustable. There's a locking nut on the bottom, and if you tighten it up it will obviously release less pressure out. This is currently holding 2 psi, which is more than enough to be able to transfer. I want to see how much this is going to hold. It's getting the better of me. It's quite a bit. So I'm just going to tighten this up and we'll be back. 8mm on the nut here. And tighten it down with a screwdriver. Tightened it too far then, there wasn't much movement at all. Let's try it again. Okay, just hear the air escaping. Try with the valve. Still 2 psi. So that's confirmed. That shows 2 psi. Which is ample pressure for what I need it for. It's also worth noting that I could also use this as to ferment under a little bit of pressure with the safety of the spunding valve, which is, I've got it set at 5 psi currently, but this will release at 2, as you can hear. So that's a safety. And if I didn't want to ferment under pressure, I could of course connect the gas hose I could of course connect this with the supplied John Guest fittings. And a hose. Which would then go into a jar or a you know, some sort of bubbling vessel. So I'm going to actually leave this as it is under that little bit of pressure to finish off fermenting. Still got the heat belt attached because it has gone very cold here in the UK at the minute. So overall I think that's a decent and very versatile upgrade for the SF50. So overall I'm quite happy with my mini upgrade for the fermenter. It's very versatile, as I've hopefully demonstrated to you. And if you have an SF50 or know somebody who has one, share this video with them. They might find it useful as well. And join me on the next one where I'm going to be tackling the heating and insulation side of the SF50, which is a little bit of a bigger problem to solve. However, I can't do it whilst it's got beer in there, so I need to wait for this to finish and to keg it, and then we can clean it and take the legs off, and yeah, you'll see. I'll see you in the next one. Iechyd.